I just got to be honest, man. She do not want to win with Caitlin Clark. She don't give a damn. And I just hate to say this because I truly thought Dawn Staley produced some of the best basketball players we've seen out of the women's category. And I'm here to tell you, I got to question Dawn Staley at this point because the lack of team love is there, and we've been seeing it displayed. Now, this is what the video is going to talk about. Now, we ultimately know that Raven Johnson did what she did yesterday, and we're going to talk about that video too, but I'm here to tell you, they look like they definitely tried to.
The Raven Johnson situation took another turn as the Indiana Fever moved quickly to contain the fallout from day one of training camp. After footage of the exchange between Johnson and Caitlin Clark began spreading across social media, the organization released new video content, and the response has raised more questions than it answered. The clips dropped by the Fever roughly 16 hours after the incident showed Johnson engaging warmly with teammates, including Kelsey Mitchell. The first player visible in the video is Johnson herself, exchanging a greeting with Mitchell. The framing of the content reads like a deliberate attempt to counter the narrative building around her, presenting her as an active and friendly locker room presence.
Yesterday, and we're going to talk about that video too, but I'm here to tell you, they look like they definitely tried to de-escalate this entire situation because once everybody start making their videos, once everybody start paying attention to what had happened, they released another video of their own. Now, this is the video that was released 16 hours ago from the Indiana Fever. And not only did they release this video, they released another video. And watch this video here, guys. So in this set video here, you can see who's the first person you see, Raven Johnson.
But the specific interaction that drew widespread attention, the one involving Clark, is nowhere in the footage. Johnson is shown connecting with other teammates, standing in proximity to Sophie Cunningham, and generally appearing upbeat. What the video does not show is any direct interaction between Johnson and Clark. For many watching, that absence is the story. Showing solidarity with Kelsey Mitchell does nothing to address whether the tension with Clark has been resolved.
Video here, guys. So in this set video here, you can see who's the first person you see, Raven Johnson, showing love with Kelsey Mitchell. That's the first person you see, Raven Johnson. In this video, to me, they did this to try to show solidarity with Raven Johnson. Like, no, she's a team player. Look at her showing love to Kelsey Mitchell. We don't want to see her showing love to Kelsey Mitchell. We want to see her showing love to Caitlin Clark to show that there's no beef, there's no issue. I want to win.
The footage being released felt curated in a way that sidestepped the core issue entirely, and that calculation has not gone unnoticed. Separately, other training camp arrival clips also circulated, showing various players checking in for day one. Energy appeared high across the board, with multiple players expressing enthusiasm heading into the new season. The Fever's defensive emphasis was also visible across the practice clips that came out, with the organization appearing to build its early promotional content around that identity. There is also a visible effort to spotlight Johnson as a key piece of that defensive unit, which some are interpreting as a broader organizational signal about how the roster is being positioned. Meanwhile, Natasha Cloud remains one of the more notable unsigned free agents still on the market.
That's all we need to see. I don't need to see her slapping hands with Kelsey Mitchell. Look at this. Oh, not only is she slapping hands with Kelsey Mitchell, she's standing right behind Sophie Cunningham. There's no beef here. No, it's all love. It's not all love. We seen what was displayed yesterday. It ain't all love. And you know they got to show CC. You know they got to show CC.
Cloud posted a message on social media reflecting on her journey, writing about having given everything to every team and community she has been part of and expressing gratitude for the support she has received even amid uncertainty. She described the moment as a reminder that the impact she has sought to make beyond the game is real, and said she is trusting the process, regardless of how things have unfolded. Cloud has been outspoken throughout the offseason, including publicly clashing with ownership over financial structures related to the CBA negotiations. She challenged team owners directly over revenue streams and investment returns, which generated significant backlash.
Gotta show CC. You know they got to show CC. Now, something else that we're going to talk about in today's video is the Natasha Cloud situation. And before we get into that, let's watch some of these videos. This was yesterday, man. And this was day 1 of training camp.
Day 1 was a success, guys.
Oh, and this is another Raven Johnson video. So it looked like to me they very much.
During a high-five line, Raven Johnson appeared to step back and look away as Caitlin Clark extended her hand. On the surface, the clip looks awkward. In reality, it means almost nothing. Watch the footage carefully and the explanation becomes obvious.
To me, they very much could be trying to hype up Raven.
Day 1. That's it.
Because I'm trying to see here. Now, I don't believe we've seen any videos of Justine Puscott. I ain't seen Justine Puscott yet. Let's go watch this real quick.
I'm so excited. So excited. Hello. What's going down? We got vibes.
Johnson glances down at the floor, notices something, steps back, then reaches toward Clark, and in doing so, also misses Aaliyah Boston, who ends up slapping her arm instead. She was not dodging Clark, she was distracted for a split second, lost her place in the sequence, and missed 2 high fives instead of 1. Anyone arguing this was intentional is not thinking it through.
We got vibes. Feel like I'm 9 years in. Go Fever Girls! What's happening? What's good? First day out. Day 1 again. Day 1. Woo! You guys ready to rock and roll? Year 1.
How you feeling?
Feverish. Hey!
She happy to be.
A player who deliberately snubs a franchise star on day 1 of training camp does not survive day 2. No team would sign someone cut for that reason before a single ball has been dribbled. The intentional theory does not hold up. What the clip does reveal, though, is something worth paying attention to, not about Johnson's attitude, but about the environment the Fever have created around themselves.
Hey!
She happy to be there.
Excited. Home. Grade 317.
Yes! First day! Woo!
Good. Ready to go? Year 2, here we go. I have my message. Let's get it.
So that was everybody showing up, ready to go for day 1. But just like I told y'all, man, this whole situation involving Raven Johnson is going to be.
Every small interaction involving this roster will be dissected, framed, and pushed into a locker room drama narrative for the entire season. That is a predictable consequence of the way this team has been constructed. From a pure basketball standpoint, the Raven Johnson pick was questionable from the start. Training camp groupings have made it clearer. Johnson is running with the developmental group alongside Megan McConnell, Kiana Trahan, Jasmine Jones, and Michaela Timpson.
So it seemed like the rotation is set and Raven Johnson's not going to be in the rotation. So it does appear like the Indiana Fever have just gone and wasted a roster spot on Raven Johnson. First of all, that is an annoying thing. But let's take a look at what happens here. So they're high-fiving. And look, I don't know. Like, look, neither of Caitlin Clark or Raven Johnson are dumb enough to do this intentionally. And by the way, I don't even say what neither of Caitlin Clark. Raven Johnson just dodges her. So Caitlin Clark goes to high five Raven Johnson here. And Raven Johnson looks.
The rotation group features Erica Wheeler, Kelsey Mitchell, Ty Harris, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Misha Hines-Allen, and Aaliyah Boston. That separation suggests Johnson is not expected to contribute meaningful rotation minutes, which raises the obvious question of what the pick was actually for. The rumor going around is straightforward. The front office did not want to keep cycling through backup guards for Caitlin Clark and decided drafting one was the easier solution. That kind of thinking drafting for convenience rather than roster need is how organizations waste assets.
Goes to high five Raven Johnson here. And Raven Johnson looks like she steps back and looks away. I can't lie, this does look pretty damn bad. Like, first of all, I don't think Raven Johnson's not dumb. If this was intentional, Raven Johnson would be cut tomorrow. She would be cut tomorrow, like. And not only that, by the way, like a load of people are like, oh, you know, WNBA teams, front offices would love to pick her up. Oh, if she gets cut because she refused to high five.
The Fever already had Erica Wheeler, Kelsey Mitchell, and Ty Harris at or near the guard positions. Adding another undersized guard in the draft, rather than addressing an actual gap on the roster, looks like a failure of process. There were better options available at that pick. Nalissa Smith represented the highest upside on the board at that stage of the draft.
Would love to pick her up. Oh, if she gets cut because she refuses to high five Caitlyn, other teams pick her up. No, they won't. Like, getting cut for this reason, for as soon as your star player walks into training camp, refusing to basically shake their hand because of a high five situation before you've even dribbled the ball. No one will sign her. But that is saying that I'm working off the hype, off the argument that she's trying to get herself kicked off the team, which she's not. I'm going to be very real here.
Gianna Nieparin would have addressed the shooting need without crowding an already congested backcourt. Medina Okeke would have helped with size, a genuine premium in this league. For context, any reasonably competent big in this offseason's free agency market commanded around $750,000. Small guards, meanwhile, were available for next to nothing, as the Ty Harris signing demonstrated.
Which she's not. I'm going to be very real here. She looked down. And then did not see Caitlin Clark. She obviously saw something on the floor and stepped back. And then immediately, as you can see right here, she doesn't even high-five Aaliyah Boston properly. So she looks at the ground, she sees something on the ground, steps back, and then tries to reach for Caitlin Clark, and then misses Aaliyah Boston. Like, Aaliyah slaps her arm. So clearly that's not happening. The only reason why...
The Fever used a 4-year draft slot to solve a problem they could have addressed more cheaply and more effectively elsewhere. What makes this particularly frustrating is the off-court dimension it adds. The 2024 season came with a steady stream of social media noise, locker room speculation, and external pressure on players. Dewana Bonner became a target for an ugly corner of the internet during that stretch, receiving abuse after a game where manufactured crowd noise controversy overshadowed her, reaching 3rd place on the all-time scoring list.
The only reason why I talked about that hypothetical that she did, and then it looks bad unless you look at it in slow motion. You look at it 2 or 3 times where she clearly sees something on the ground, moves back, tries to high-five Caitlyn, and misses Aaliyah. So you're trying to say that she's intentionally, high-fiving Aaliyah Boston? And I'm going to be real. This is the crap why I'm like, I actually just didn't... First of all, basketball-wise, it doesn't make sense when you're bringing in 75 guards. But, like, even non-basketball-wise, like, it's annoying. Every interaction we picked apart, Raven had her head down, missed her by a second.
The team pulled together through it, but the toll was visible. That kind of environment asks a lot of players, and it only functions as long as everyone is able to block out the outside world. Drafting Johnson does not create locker room problems on its own, but it guarantees the circus continues.
Every interaction we picked apart, Raven had her head down, missed her by a second. Analyzing, missing each other, high fives, how old are we? But that's going to be the whole season. They're going to keep trying locker room issues narrative again until they get it right. Hasn't happened yet. Like, what's the point of, like, for Ken Swift, what's the point of acknowledging this dumbass? But Raven wasn't holding her hand out to Caitlyn. Yeah, obviously, Raven took a step back. It is what it is. It's day 1 and she's already bullying her. Like,
a player projected to be 10th or 11th on the depth chart, likely sitting out 10 or more games, becomes a focal point for a social media narrative that has nothing to do with basketball. Every missed high
back. It is what it is. It's day 1 and she's already bullying her. Like, it's going to be a very interesting season. I'm looking through all these things and I'm like, Raven struggling with high fives. She just missed another. Yeah. Obviously, nerves, whatever is involved. Please go back to threads. Yeah, if they could go back to that Caitlin Clark hate page, that would be great. Every single interaction is going to be about them is going to be picked apart. It is. Every single interaction, because it is like...
Instead, the Fever drafted a player who will likely be a spectator for large stretches of the season, and in doing so, handed the drama machine exactly what it needed to run through another year. At some point, if results on the floor are not going the right direction, the external pressure finds a crack. It has not happened yet, but the conditions for it keep getting easier to create.
It is like... Drafting Raven Johnson is not that different than trading for Angel Reese. Like, you just, no matter how good Angel Reese is, people are like, oh yeah, you just don't do it. You just don't do it. Even just for non-basketball reasons. Like, you don't You just don't. You be smart about it. You just don't draft. You just don't trade for injuries. Like, it is not on a too dissimilar level to that. Because now it's 2024 again.